You are a successful lawyer and the wife of former British Prime Minister and also a mother of 4 children. So it's very different roles. So how do you find the different roles? Which one's the toughest?
I think being a wife and mother is the toughest. Particularly bringing up children is our biggest challenge. And I think for working mothers, we often find ourselves in a situation where we kind of feel we're not good enough either as an employee or as a mother, and which is a shame, because actually most of the time we do a fantastic job.
Yeah, in your memoir, you described that about your life at number 10. You described it's very difficult for women in a man's world, particularly for women in public life. Yeah. So why is it? Has it got any better now?
Well, it has got a bit better now, that's for sure. I wouldn't say it was perfect now, but when I look back at how it was when I first started, for example, as a lawyer, there were very, very few women indeed. In fact, the year I qualified as a lawyer was the first time the number of women lawyers went over 10%. So now my daughter is studying to be a lawyer, and it's 50-50 in her law class. So that means that we have made progress, but there's still a long way to go. There still aren't enough women at my level, for example. So I'm a senior trial lawyer that we call Queen's Counsel, and still only 10% of the legal profession, QCs, are women. Still only 10% of our judges are women. So we still have a long way to go, but we are definitely moving in the right direction.
The theme of this year's International Women's Day is that equal access to education, training, and science and technology. So how important the role you think the technology can play in promoting the gender equality?
Well, I actually am a huge fan of technology. In fact, I wouldn't have been able to carry on my career and bring up my children and live in number 10 Downing Street if it hadn't been for the flexibility that technology gave me. I first started using technology way back in 1988 when my third child, my daughter, was born, and somebody introduced me to an Olivetti PC and what was then WordPerfect 5.1, and within 2 years I'd become chair of the bar's IT committee, telling other lawyers why IT makes sense for the lawyers. And now, in my current life, I still do my law, but I also have my own women's foundation. And at the heart of that is a belief, firstly, that we need to give women economic independence, because if women can make their own livings, it gives them not just economic independence, but the ability to make choices, which if you are completely dependent on somebody else, you can't make. But the other thing that we are convinced is that because of technology, women can make more choices and be more flexible in the choices they make by using technology, whether it's use of mobile phones in businesses, which we've been promoting, or the internet and access through computers. Suddenly the world is a much smaller place, and that gives huge opportunities for women to communicate with each other across the world.
Yeah, let's talk about the situation here in the UK. Currently, there are about 12% to 13% women
on boards.
Yeah, on boards, of the directors on boards, and your target is to improve that ratio or proportion to about 25 to 30%. That's a very long shot, isn't it?
I don't think so, because I think that the reason it will change is because the economic case is there. And what we've seen now over these last decades, when people have started studying, does it make a difference to have women on boards, is that the answer is a resounding yes, it makes things better. And when you look at that, you can see that it's around 50% boards that have significant numbers of women, which is more than just a token 1, but 2 or 3, actually outperform in relation to sales, outperform in return on investment, and outperform in relation to return on equity. That's a very compelling business case. Now, why is that the reason? Because diversity matters. In business, as in life, diversity makes a difference. If everybody is drawn from the same background, thinks the same way, then you're not as creative as if you have the creative tension that having the differences, whether it's between the man and the women or people of different backgrounds, different races, all of this makes for a more creative world. I think the Chinese describe it with the yin and the yang, don't they?